On World News Tonight this Wednesday, the United States has attacked Iraq. Washington is a city on edge. It looks almost certain now that Bill Clinton will be impeached.
From ABC, this is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings, reporting tonight from Washington.
Good evening, everybody. We begin our broadcast tonight in the middle of a very fluid situation with the president on the verge of being impeached, probably, here before the House of Representatives in Washington. And the United States very much in the middle of what President Clinton said just a few minutes ago was a series of sustained attacks against Iraq. Let's go first to the night sky in Baghdad, where every so often this is exactly what you see and hear. Our correspondent there, Bill Blakemore, is on the roof of the Information Ministry in downtown Baghdad. It's been sporadically quiet and noisy. Bill, do you have any sense of what's going on at the moment?
Just now there's another attack that started, Peter. It's more than 2 hours since the attack started here on Baghdad. There have been long lulls in which we've heard muffled explosions out on the edge of town, and then every now and then it breaks loose right here around us. We saw a couple of explosions maybe less than a mile away from the Information Ministry, where we're on the roof here just moments ago, and you could hear those explosions, I'm sure. We're still seeing a great deal of anti-aircraft fire going up, and now again it's quiet. This attack has been going on intensely at times, and in between with these lulls, it's hard to tell what's being hit. As you can see, the city is not blacked out. There are obviously explosions over on the south side of the city, the direction we're generally pointing here from the roof of the ministry. There are very few cars left in the street. It's been a very tense day here with people realizing that there would be an attack tonight. And now we can see more of the anti-aircraft fire going off overhead. Peter?
Bill, thanks very much. Let's just stay with that night sky for a moment, because we do not, any of us, know at the moment precisely what is going on. And here in Washington, the Pentagon, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and the president be very careful not to divulge much information. But that key phrase from the president is the one that makes the difference: a strong and sustained series of air attacks. Most of it at the moment, either air or sea-launched cruise missiles from B-52s flying out of the Indian Ocean or from ships in the Persian Gulf. Let's go to the White House next, where ABC's Sam Donald, like the rest of us here, has just been listening to the president. Sam.
Well, Peter, the president made the decision to use military action with his advisors about 8 o'clock this morning. His advisors unanimously recommended that in light of Saddam Hussein's refusal to cooperate with UN inspectors, the attack be launched. Early this evening, the president addressed the nation from the Oval Office. In explaining why he did what he has done and what the ramifications are, here is some of what he had to say.
Lord, the inspectors are saying that even if they could stay in Iraq, their work would be a sham. Saddam's deception has defeated their effectiveness. Instead of the inspectors disarming Saddam, Saddam has disarmed the inspectors. This situation presents a clear and present danger to the stability of the Persian Gulf and the safety of people everywhere. That is why, on the unanimous recommendation of my national security team, including the Vice President, the Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, the Secretary of State, and the National Security Advisor, I have ordered a strong, sustained series of airstrikes against Iraq. They are designed to degrade Saddam's capacity to develop and deliver weapons of mass destruction, and to degrade his ability to threaten his neighbors. At the same time, we are delivering a powerful message to Saddam. If you act recklessly, you will pay a heavy price. We acted today because, in the judgment of my military advisors, a swift response would provide the most surprise and the least opportunity for Saddam to prepare. If we had delayed for even a matter of days from Chairman Butler's report, we would have given Saddam more time to disperse his forces and protect his weapons. Also, the Muslim holy month of Ramadan begins this weekend. For us to initiate military action during Ramadan would be profoundly offensive to the Muslim world, and therefore would damage our relations with Arab countries and the progress we have made in the Middle East.
Shortly after the attack began, a number of Republican leaders on Capitol Hill, who usually are supportive of military action by the president, registered their vote of non-support. Among them, Senator Trent Lott, the majority leader of the United States Senate, who said in part, "I cannot support this military action in the Persian Gulf at this time. Both the timing and the policy are subject to question." The reference to timing, of course, has to do with the impeachment vote that was to begin tomorrow in the House of Representatives. Many Republicans say they believe that the timing somehow had something to do with that. That's bitterly resented here at the White House. White House officials point out that the attack on Saddam Hussein was brought on by none other than Saddam Hussein's refusal to cooperate with the inspectors, and it was not part of the impeachment process that caused the president to take the military action he did today, Peter.
Thanks very much, Sam, but you certainly put your finger on the issue here. This is very much tied up with the impeachment process. We're not precisely sure at the moment. We're trying to get a handle on when it will precisely unravel or come unstuck from this and go on with itself. But right now, they're very much in the middle of Operation Desert Fox, as it is called. It's hard to get a handle on size and scope, but what we can get from the Pentagon, ABC's Barry Serafin there, been listening to the chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. What have they told you, Barry?
Well, Peter, they're being careful so far not to say very much. They're telling us nothing so far about the targets, nothing about any possible damage, nothing about how long this air campaign may last. The targets, they said, like the president did, include anything that might degrade Saddam Hussein's ability to threaten his neighbors or produce weapons of mass destruction. Defense Secretary Cohen said the airstrikes are Israel's own fault, that Iraq left the U.S. no choice.
We have acted. We did not use force lightly. We did not do so today. But Iraq has exhausted patience. It has exhausted all options but the use of force.
The U.S. has enough firepower in the region to carry out at least 4 days of intensive strikes, and more is on the way. U.S. forces in the area include about 200 planes and 22 ships, including the aircraft carrier Enterprise. 8 of those ships are capable of firing Tomahawk cruise missiles. They have about 300 of those smart guided missiles available. Another 100 or so air-launched cruise missiles are carried by 15 B-52s, based on the island of Diego Garcia in the Indian Ocean. Peter, the first wave of attacks today, what some here are calling the first package, were carried out primarily by cruise missiles, about 100 of them. Reinforcements are on the way, including another aircraft carrier and a number of planes also being brought into the region.
Barry, just one question at the moment. Listening to General Sheldon, I thought I heard a hint that piloted aircraft were involved at the moment, too. Yes or no, do you know?
Apparently, they are supposed to be. We're told that the very first strikes were an all-Navy affair. There may have been some planes flown from the aircraft carrier, but it was primarily a cruise missile operation.
Okay, Barry, thanks very much, Barry Serafin at the Pentagon. Just one other note here from the Secretary of Defense. He said a short while ago in his briefing that the attack against Iraq would be carried out for as long as needed and there would be no time limit. And while General Sheldon, the chairman of the Joint Chiefs, doesn't want to give anybody targets at the moment, doesn't want to give anybody combat assessments in any way, shape, or form, it is the middle of the night in Iraq. We can get from our military analyst, Tony Cordesman, some sense of what it is the administration is trying to accomplish with this very, very strong attack. Tony.
Peter, some targets are going to include the weapons of mass destruction facilities, suspect facilities, perhaps dual-use facilities we know can quickly be converted to missile production or weapons of mass destruction. We'll probably hit at sensitive, politically important targets to Saddam, like the Special Republican Guards or his intelligence headquarters, his command and control facilities for the military. At some point, we may take out a good part of his air defense system, perhaps his more modern air elements. We'll probably hit at some of his military production facilities, and throughout this, a lot of these strikes are going to be targeted to hit at very high value items that he can't replace because he can't import new equipment.
Tony, just one question. You speak with great confidence. How confident can the United States be at this moment that it will accomplish the goal it wants to?
Well, the word degrade, Peter, makes some kind of accomplishment virtually certain. We have to understand something. We're using new weapon systems. These are improved sea-launched cruise missiles, and they're likely to be fairly effective. But a 70% hit rate would still be an accomplishment. The last time we used air-launched cruise missiles during the Gulf War, most of them didn't work. So this is a system where we have to understand from observation how effective it really is. And a lot of the time we'll be striking at targets where we don't precisely know what's inside the targets. And one thing we can be certain of, there are much of his equipment, the facilities, technology for producing weapons of mass destruction and missiles is so scattered throughout the country, it will survive this combat.
Oh, that's the point. Thank you very much, Tony Cordesman, and it's a very big country. We'll keep you up to date as best we can with these attacks, and in a moment we'll come back and deal with impeachment.
This is World News Tonight with Peter Jennings. Brought to you by Charles Schwab.
When we were traveling cross country, we stopped at a place. They had the business channel. We started watching, and the market was going down, and we said, there are these stocks we wanted to buy, and from the road we called Schwab because we didn't have a phone modem in the motorhome, so we couldn't trade online. Where were we? Utah. We're in Utah. On a payphone, talking to Schwab, buying the stocks. There's a feeling of exhilaration. Hey, we've done it. You've committed to it. Then we got back in the motorhome and traveled on our way. And those purchases
have done very well.
When you serve French's traditional green bean casserole, made with the tasty, crispy crunch of French's French fried onions, it'll disappear as quickly as the holidays.
No one knows more about the safety of pain relievers than doctors and hospitals. And the pain reliever they choose most? Tylenol. In fact, for pain relief, doctors recommend Tylenol more than all other brands combined. For over 20 years, Tylenol has been the first choice of doctors and hospitals. It's simply the most trusted combination of strength and safety in pain relief today. Tylenol, the pain reliever hospitals use most.
Inevitably, some Americans and people in other parts of the world will come to the fairly rapid conclusion that this attack on Iraq has something to do with the impeachment process. But we came here to Washington today because it is the eve of what was supposed to be the vote on impeachment in the House of Representatives. Before we debate the broader political context of it, what is happening in terms of the impeachment process itself? We go to Capitol Hill and ABC's Linda Douglas. Linda.
Well, members of the House of Representatives flew in from all over the country to the Capitol tonight, preparing to cast the historic vote on impeachment tomorrow. But now Republicans are trying to decide whether to hold that vote tomorrow or not. They are meeting behind closed doors, trying to make that decision. They had televisions wheeled in so they could see the president make his address. And the incoming speaker, Bob Livingston, will probably make an announcement about that decision later on tonight. As Republicans wrestled with whether to impeach the commander-in-chief as he is sending Americans into battle, some pro-impeachment hardliners did not hesitate to question the president's motives.
For this sort of thing to all of a sudden seem to come to a head on the eve of an impeachment vote is highly suspicious, to say the least.
He has never held the military in high esteem and has avoided it, and now he uses the military to hide behind.
Others urge their colleagues not to be faint-hearted.
We want to debate this impeachment question. I think it's irrelevant whether there's bombing going on.
GOP leaders tried to keep up the momentum for impeachment as the parade of Republicans announcing they will vote against the president continued. Illinois' John Porter once opposed to impeachment.
Me, the evidence is clear and convincing that the president lied both in the civil proceeding and before the grand jury.
Iowa's Jim Leach, known for his independence.
The president has committed crimes and misdemeanors.
Several who announced said they made up their minds after watching the Judiciary Committee make its case against the president. Last night, those findings were rushed to the House clerk to be distributed to members today. The president's supporters made a last-minute, probably futile effort to stop the impeachment train, delivering hundreds of thousands of petitions to Capitol Hill. Peter, one of the members in that Republican meeting, South Carolina's Lindsey Graham, a Judiciary Committee member, emerged to say he doubts that there will be a vote on impeachment tomorrow, though the vote will be held in the next few days. Graham was suggesting that perhaps the House would gather on the floor to vote some kind of resolution in support of the men and women in uniform.
Linda, before we got engrossed by this today, we all thought here in Washington that this impeachment process was pretty much done and the Republicans had the votes. Is that still pretty much the situation?
It really does appear to be, Peter. This appears to be, at this hour at least, it appears to be numerically impossible for the president to win. But of course, you never know. People can change their minds at the last minute. That's how it looks.
Okay, thanks, Linda, very much. Linda Douglas on Capitol Hill. So let's go back to the White House now and ask you, Sam Donaldson, when the president wasn't thinking about these attacks on Iraq today, what was he doing about the impeachment process?
Well, he was going to meet with a couple of Republicans here, one of them Christopher Shays. That meeting has been put off now because of what happened today. People here are still pessimistic, Peter. Of course, there's always a chance they haven't given up. But they continue to say this is a partisan effort by Republicans on Capitol Hill, and they continue to say the president would like to make an arrangement. He'd like to make out some sort of deal with Congress that would avoid impeachment.
Thank you, Sam. Quite someday, when we come back, we'll talk about it with our resident political analysts.
Announcing an amazing discovery. One-A-Day has combined the power of herbs with vitamins to help you during the cold season. Support your mood, even memory. New from One-A-Day. Just what you need to feel your best.
Ugh, this head cold. I'm so clogged up, I just can't focus.
You okay? Get Tavus D. Just one works 12 hours versus 4 Tylenol cold pills. Tavus D clears your congestion. Be clear-headed, clear through your day with Tavus D.
So, you're a little extreme? Walking is boring? The ground is the competition? And this is your idea of climbing the company ladder? Well, lucky for you, it's the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event. Because right now, you can get a Chevy S10, the compact pickup designed for your rugged lifestyle. And get either low 0.9% APR financing or big cash back. So, if you're looking for something extreme, fly, ski, jump, or drop on into your Chevy dealer and make your money count. It's a season for you.
The days of wearing bulky protective undergarments are over, all because of a revolutionary new product from Depend. Introducing disposable protective underwear. It combines a discreet, sure fit with a built-in super absorbent panel. It's the closest thing to regular underwear you can buy. So slim fitting, all that shows is your confidence. It's your life. Live it the way you want. New Depend protective underwear.
Get all you want out of life with Depend.
We ease life's pressures. We help bring people back to life. We take care of best friends. We're the people of Pfizer. We develop medicines that make the world a better place. We spend over $2 billion a year on research. That's why we believe we'll introduce more new medicines for more diseases than anyone else. We're not just looking for cures, we're going to find them. Pfizer. Life is our life's work.
Well, we're joined this evening again by 3 people who have their finger on the pulse with greater consistency than any other. On the left, Cokie Roberts, Bill Kristol, and George Stephanopoulos. Bill, let me start with you this evening. If you were giving advice to the Republican members of the House of Representatives, what would you tell them to do tomorrow? Go ahead?
No, I would tell them to put this off for 4 or 5 days until the military operation was over. I would tell them to mute their private thought. Their private thoughts are entirely along the lines of deep suspicion about the president's motives and timing, but I would tell them that they should keep that to themselves for now, support the U.S. forces abroad. I think the attitude of Republicans up there was best summarized by one staffer who said to me that her boss's attitude and the attitude of every other congressman she had talked to was very simple: bomb, then impeach.
Well, Cokie Roberts, so much for bipartisanship, because Trent Lott, the Republican lieutenant, came out very quickly after this attack began, said he didn't support it. What does that say to everybody?
Well, it says that there's a very poisonous atmosphere there at the moment, and that people who you would normally suspect would support have not. Now, Senator Orrin Hatch has given his support. Senator John McCain has given his support. So it's not all one way on the Republican side. But even Senator Hatch did express suspicion about timing. And that's just bound to be the case, Peter. There's no avoiding that. We're told that tonight at 8 o'clock in an extraordinary a moment, the Secretary of Defense will come to the chamber of the House of Representatives and give all members who want to come a secret briefing. And the purpose of that will be to convince them that this really was a militarily dictated operation, not a politically dictated one. We'll see if they buy it.
George Stephanopoulos, let me ask you a rather callous question. Do you think the president or his team will try to use this attack on Iraq to his impeachment benefit?
I don't think they'll be able to, Peter, and if they tried, it would backfire immediately. But what struck me about the president's speech, I mean, I think that they are acting in good faith, but how remarkably defensive the speech was. He felt the need to enumerate all of the advisors that said we must go ahead. He even raised the impeachment debate himself, which some would say is less than presidential. The president should just let his actions speak for themselves.
One line from each of you, literally. George, from you. Does this make any difference whatsoever in the impeachment process?
I don't think so.
Bill Kristol.
I don't think so.
Cokie Roberts.
Not likely to, but this has been such a peculiar thing from beginning to end. Who knows?
Unkind of me to make the camera move that fast, but thank you very much indeed. The impeachment process continues. The attacks against Iraq continue, and we'll have other news when we come back.
Tylenol House Call. Information for healthy living.
Do you know why some over-the-counter pain relievers may irritate your stomach, while others won't?
No, I just know aspirin can do that sometimes. Different kind of medicine?
Good guess. There are two kinds of over-the-counter pain relievers. One type is called NSAIDs, which include aspirin, ibuprofen, naproxen sodium, to name a few. And every single NSAID, to varying degrees, including even ibuprofen, can sometimes irritate your stomach by interfering with the production of the substance that lines and protects the stomach. And surprisingly, this irritation can occur at the stomach lining without you even feeling it. The other type of pain reliever is the medicine in Tylenol. Tylenol won't irritate your stomach the way NSAIDs like aspirin or even ibuprofen sometimes can. That's one reason why doctors recommend it most. So take care of your pain and take care of your stomach.
Tylenol House Call is brought to you by Extra Strength Tylenol.
Oh, Mom, I don't want to take him with me. You don't know, Mom. Last time, he got stuck in a tree. It was almost on TV.
Sometimes moms need a little help getting kids to do the right thing.
He gets two?
Fortunately, there's Sunny Delight. Kids love that great Sunny D taste. You love the vitamins.
Let's go. Come on, Shorty. Mr. Shorty to you. Yeah.
Reach for the good stuff. Reach for the sun. Sunny Delight.
When they said the world didn't need another nose strip, we said we'll make one that gives instant relief of nasal congestion symptoms and is ergonomically contoured for a good fit. Introducing Clear Passage Nose Strips. After all, we're the maker of the Afrin brand, and who knows more about the nose?
So I get this mail from Progressive saying they have a smart new way to shop for auto insurance.
Progressive, can I help you?
They give you their rates plus the rates of several other companies. I wonder whose rates are going to be lowest.
It looks like you could save over $200 if you went with...
What? You're an insurance company?
Hey, we know how hard it is to shop for auto insurance. A lot of times we're the lowest. Sometimes we're not.
That's not what I expected from an insurance company. And then he said, well, maybe you should.
Call 1-800-AUTO-PRO or your authorized independent agent.
There is a little bit of other news today. We don't have time for a lot of it. In Paducah, Kentucky, the teenager who killed 3 fellow students last year was sentenced to 25 years in prison. 15-year-old Michael Carneal will not be eligible for parole. He had pleaded guilty but mentally ill at the time. The shooting also injured 5 students. The sentence is the stiffest one the judge could have imposed for a minor under Kentucky law. From the moment Dolly the sheep debuted, everyone knew this moment was coming. Scientists in South Korea say today they have created a human clone, or the early stages of one anyway. There is some question about whether it actually happened, and there was also a loud outcry because someone even made the effort. Here's ABC's Ned Potter.
Outside the hospital in Seoul, a line of demonstrators had already formed, saying, "I don't want to be copied." Inside, researchers said they had only grown the embryo to the size of 4 cells before stopping. But they said the embryo was human, and if that is true, it is something no one has admitted before. Our primary interest, says the lead researcher, is not cloning human beings, but doing further research into cloning organs. The scientists who created Dolly the sheep said the Korean experiment demonstrates nothing. There's no proof the embryo could have grown larger. But others are not so sure.
Less than 2 years
since Dolly's birth was announced. And there's the report of a cloned human embryo. That's just one step away from a cloned child.
Biologists say the Korean process may not yet be reliable, but it is a warning that a doctor somewhere may start cloning humans while everyone else is still wondering if it's wise to try. Ned Potter, ABC News, New York.
On Wall Street today, the Dow Jones Industrial Average was down more than 32 points to close at 8790. On the NASDAQ, stocks were down 3 points. We'll be back with a brief wrap-up of our major story in just a moment.
These days, everything's faster. So how come pain relief isn't faster? Introducing Advil Liquid Gels. On tough pain, they're stronger and faster than extra strength Tylenol. New Advil Liquid Gels. Pain relief, stronger and faster.
I should have used Preparation H.
If you had, you wouldn't be suffering now. Preparation H helps stop itch and further irritation with a soothing layer of protection.
I should have used Preparation H.
Stops itch, stops irritation.
Bacon! Bacon! Where's the bacon? I smell bacon! 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 Gotta be bacon! Only one thing smells like bacon! That's bacon! Bacon, 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 bacon! There! From that bag! What's it say? I can't read! Please, please, give me what's in the bag! Chewy, yummy, smoky bacon!
There you go.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy! Nom, 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 nom. It's bacon!
No, it's Bacon Strips, brand dog snack from Purina. Bacon Strips. Dogs don't know it's not bacon.
It's bacon!
Americans love to travel. From the East Coast to the West Coast, even the Midwest. But we don't like spending a lot of money getting around. During the Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event, you get the best of both worlds. The Chevy Malibu, the car you knew America could build. It can travel up to 100,000 miles before its first scheduled tune-up. And now it comes with low 0.9% APR financing or big cash back. So if you want to see a lot without spending a lot, get to your Chevy Make Your Money Count year-end event. It's the season for you.
Tonight from ABC News, a presidency at the crossroads.
I understand that accountability demands consequences, and I'm prepared to accept them.
Peter Jennings, an ABC News special tonight.
We end the broadcast as we began, in the middle of a sustained American attack against Iraq. And though it seems rather quiet in Baghdad tonight, and there is no blackout in the center of the city, on the edges of town, our correspondent there, Bill Blakemore, has heard a series of attacks. And President Clinton told us just a while ago that there was a strong, sustained series of air attacks throughout the country. For a while, downtown, you could see the Iraqis trying to fire at something they may have thought was a cruise missile. It turned out, in terms of the degree of power and force that the United States has brought to bear tonight, there's been a first package, as the Pentagon calls it, of cruise missiles launched by the Navy from the Persian Gulf on what we are told are military targets around the country. The Secretary of Defense, Bill Cohen, says this will go on as long as it is required. There is no time limit. At 10 o'clock tonight, 9 Eastern Time, we'll gather again and hope you'll join us to bring you up to date on this quite extraordinary day where impeachment and an attack on Iraq have come together. I'm Peter Jennings. Have a good evening and good night.
Crisis in the Gulf and crisis in Washington. Stay with ABC News for the latest on the strike in Iraq and the impeachment vote. And don't miss World News Tonight. This has been a presentation of ABC News. More Americans get their news from ABC News than from any other source. ABC News, now always on.
The man who's sleeping with Mommy.
I should have told you about Drew.
You'll never be my real dad, never!
Danny Bonaducci, Shirley Jones, and Marion Ross star in a special holiday Drew Carey, followed by another holiday hit, Whose Line Is It Anyway? See you tonight, starting at 9, 8 Central on ABC, and chat live right after with Wayne Brady on America Online, keyword ABC.
Now, News 2 at 6. First, fast, accurate.
Once more, the United States has proven that although we are never eager to use force, when we must act in America's vital interests, we will do so.
Time is up for Saddam Hussein as President Clinton authorizes strong, sustained airstrikes against Iraq. Good evening, everyone. President Clinton has ordered a substantial military strike against Iraq.
The attack, called Operation Desert Fox, is now fully underway.
News 2's Christy Lowe is following this story, and she joins us now with more. Christy?
And Bob, here's what we know at this point. According to military sources,